Okay, so we're getting into the Milton model here and the different hypnotic language patterns. By the way, as you watch and listen to these, know that if you're coming back later to look at one thing, oh, what was that one he was saying? Look in the description below any video because I'm going to talk about 3 or 4 in each individual video here on the hypnotic language patterns. So if you're looking for one in particular, scroll through the descriptions and you'll find what you're looking for. Okay, in the introduction here, we talked a little bit about the you may pattern. It's a very simple one. So let's talk about it a little more. You may blank. You may decide to go into a trance. You may begin to feel a relaxful sensation over your entire body. You may not even know anything about hypnosis. That's okay. Your unconscious mind already does. Just come up with whatever you want to put in that blank, and it's going to work fantastic. So a different variation of that one. You may already be aware of blank. You may already be aware of the fact that you're in hypnosis. And because of that fact, you can go deeper. Does it make a ton of sense? Not necessarily every single time, but it causes the person to take the you may, very non-threatening way to give a suggestion. And you're embedding a command there, and no one is going to be wanting to challenge you because you may not. You may already be aware of. Okay, so you may already be aware of the fact that your hands are locked, and whatever you try to do to open them, they will not open. Let's look at another one. Can you imagine what it would be like to blank? Keep it clean. Can you imagine what it would be like to blank? Can you imagine what it would be like to stretch out on the floor and be comfortable? Can you imagine what it would be like to relax in your chair and just let it happen? Can you imagine what it would be like if you went deeper? Can you imagine what it would be like if all the people around you were also in a state of hypnosis? Whatever you want to put there, because when you fill in that blank, they must imagine it and they must answer to it in their own unconscious mind. Their unconscious mind has to answer, and therefore they comply with the suggestion. Let's look at another one. When you really begin to blank, then blank. 2 blanks there. Getting complex, right? No. When you really begin to blank, then blank. When you really begin to relax, then the hypnosis will go even further. When you really begin to accept the words that I'm saying, you can enter an amazing trance. When you really begin to be aware of your surroundings, then you can focus further and go deeper. Whatever's going to work in there for you to help you get them to the place where you want them to be. When you really begin to blank, then blank. They need to compare these 2 words and put them together. When you really begin to listen, then you can go further. So what is that saying within the blanks? Listen, go further. When you really begin to focus, you can be stress-free. Focus and be stress-free. They compare the 2 words and they go into a fantastic trance. We're going to continue on with many more of these. And when you begin to watch more of these videos, then you can realize that you're on your way to becoming an amazing stage hypnotist. Michael C. Anthony coming at you, Stage Hypnosis University. We're continuing to look at Milton Erickson and the Milton model of hypnotic language patterns. These different patterns can be used in such eloquent, ingenious ways to drop your subjects to the floor. You'll get there. You can connect these together in interesting ways. There's no really wrong way to do it. That's the beauty of hypnosis. Even if your statement comes across as slightly confusing and your audience is thinking, what did he just say? That's the beauty of it, because confusion causes trance. And when your audience is watching, keep this in mind. If your audience understands every word and you're just using plain old language to get somebody relaxed, can it be done? Yes. Is it going to take longer? Yes. Is it as beautiful to watch? Is it eloquent coming from you? Not really. Here's a nice thing. When you're using fragmented senses and confusion techniques within your hypnotic language patterns, your audience is going to be thinking, oh, he's kind of talking a little bit strange, and that's why he's getting this reaction out of the... Did you hear how he said that certain word in a certain way, how he paused there? So they're going to be into it. Remember, this is entertainment. So entertain them all along the way. Let's get into another pattern here. Here's a nice one. It is this. I don't know if you've already begun to notice blank. I don't know if you've already begun to notice blank. So let's fill in the blanks here. I don't know if you've already begun to notice that you're getting relaxed. I don't know if you've already begun to notice blank. Let's fill in the blank. I don't know if you've already begun to notice how relaxed you're becoming. I don't know if you've already begun to notice that those around you are getting relaxed. I don't know if you've already begun to notice that your hands are getting locked. I don't know if you've already begun to notice it's starting to get cold in the room. Whatever suggestion you want to put in there. What does the I don't know if you've already begun to notice framework create here? It causes them to look at something in a way that they haven't looked at yet. They might think they're a bit behind. So let's use the room getting cold. I don't know if you've already begun to notice that it's getting cold in here. Okay, so let's say you're making people cold within part of your hypnosis. So that's going to make them immediately think that they missed out on something, or they're missing out on something just a little bit. I don't know if you began to notice it's getting cold. So now they need to question the temperature in the room. And because you've given the suggestion that it's cold, the subject would do something like this. I don't know if you've already begun to notice it's getting cold. They'll be thinking, is it getting cold? I haven't noticed, but it's getting cold. And as you continue to give suggestions of it being cold, that's a great way to start off. So I don't know if you've already begun to notice blank. Let's look at another one. Eventually, blank. What is this? Eventually, blank. Eventually, you're going to go into a trance. Eventually, you're going to start to get so much more relaxed than you are now. You're putting a slight time code on them, putting on some time pressure. I often like to use this one as follows. Eventually, you're going to go into a deep trance. Faster than that. I'll just tag that little line at the end. You don't have to, but you can. Eventually, you'll notice that the relaxation that's coming upon you is so profound and so fantastic that you want more of it. Eventually, blank. Fill in the blank. Get creative with it, because when you get creative, you're going to seem more entertaining, more eloquent from the stage, which is going to make you seem like a skilled hypnotist. Let's look at another. There's a very famous one from Erickson. And as you do. Or it can be shortened to and as you. Okay? So and as you do blank, or and as you blank. Same thing. The two go together. So you're allowing yourself to focus, and as you do, that focus can create such a sense of relaxation that you can go deeper. So how about just and as you? You can use this as to connect different senses. If you want to create a run-on sentence, you can create minutes of an induction in one seemingly really long, drawn-out sentence, which creates some confusion, which causes trance. So you can put a word like and, where it really doesn't belong. You'd never write like this, but you would talk like this. So you would put and at the end of a sentence and continue another one. Or and as you, or and as you do, or because. Give a reason for it. So, and as you do. Let's start before that. You're focusing only on the sound of my voice, and as you do, the sound of my voice causes you to become more relaxed. So you are confirming the fact that they're doing whatever it is before that sentence, and the blank afterwards is the suggestion that's tied to what's before. So you focus on the sound of my voice, and as you do, so you just said, you're focusing, and because you said, and as you do, that person must start to focus on the sound of your voice, if they're not already. And as you do, you'll feel deep relaxation all over your body. So listen to the sound of my voice, and you'll feel deep relaxation across your whole body. And as you do, or and as you. Two very popular ones, hypnotic language patterns that come from Milton Erickson. Hey, Stage Hypnosis University here. We're talking about language patterns, hypnotic language patterns from the amazing Milton Erickson. Remember, these are plug and play. You just need to fill in the blanks and come up with your own creative hypnotic language patterns to put into your inductions, even to put into your instructions or your suggestibility tests before your volunteers are even in a trance. Or you can use it, like I said, within the actual induction. Powerful, powerful stuff. So let's look at one here. We're going to look at three within this lesson. The first one is this. The fact that blank means blank. What can this be? Let's fill in the blanks like we did with the other lessons within this particular chapter. Hypnotic language patterns. So the fact that you're on the stage means that you can enter a trance. Look at that one. Imagine your volunteers just came on the stage. Maybe you're giving them some instructions, and you're telling them the fact that you're on the stage means that you can enter a trance. Okay, it's a very powerful statement to make. It's cause and effect. The cause is the very fact that you're on the stage. That's the cause. The effect means you can go into a trance. So the fact that blank means blank. And let's fill in some more blanks here. Okay, the fact that you're resting comfortably means that you can go further. The fact that you can hear my voice means that you can find a different position. Fantastic stuff. Just fill in the blanks, and these hypnotic language patterns will begin to almost form themselves over time as you practice as a stage hypnotist. Let's look at another one. Will you blank or blank or blank? What does this mean? What is the effect here? Will you blank or blank or blank? What you're going to do here within the blanks is simply give 3 different words or phrases that are all going to be similar, and your volunteer is going to accept one of them. Okay, for example, let's look at this. Will you enter a trance or go into hypnosis or rest comfortably? Okay, 3 things said in slightly different ways, and your volunteers are going to say, okay, will I enter a trance or will I go into hypnosis or will I rest comfortably? I think I'll enter a trance. Whatever that means to them, whatever you've suggested to them is going to become a reality in their mind at that moment. Okay, let's look at another one here. Will you focus or listen intently or pay close attention? 3 different words or phrases said the exact same way. So will I focus, will I listen intently, or will I pay close attention? Okay, I think I will listen intently. So then what are they going to do? They've just told themselves, auto-suggestion, self-suggestion, that yes, I will listen intently. Perfect. Let's look at a different pattern. You may notice blank as you blank. You may notice blank as you blank. So you may notice this happening as you blank. More cause and effect here. The first blank is going to be the cause. The second one is going to be the effect. So let's create some samples here. And please create your own samples. Be as creative as you can. Make it work perfect for your own induction, what you are actually trying to make happen at that moment. So you're going to need to take pen to paper here, write out these hypnotic language patterns, and as you're building an induction, and we're going to build some samples for you here in the induction chapter, you're going to make it work in such a way that it works perfect for you within the model of your show. So let's do some samples for this. You may notice blank as you blank. You may notice your muscles weaken as you go further. You may notice your focus increases as you enter a trance. Whatever you want to put in there, that's what's going to be right for you. There's no way to really get this wrong as long as you're directing your volunteers in a way that's going to cause them to enter a trance, that's going to cause them to allow their minds to work within the framework of your statement, and it's fantastic. So use these as exercises. Write them all out. We've given you some downloadable sheets within each of these hypnotic language pattern lessons, so you can just experiment, write what you want and what makes sense, and then use it to plug and play. Remember, students, you can't be wrong with this unless you're saying something absolutely ridiculous. So keep it within the context of what seems like an induction. Direct your volunteers in the way you want to, and you will get powerful results.